Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So before we start, I just wanted to have a brief moment with you all on mindfulness. I just want you all to, with me, take a deep breath at this moment. One more time. Very well. Thank you so much. So, as you can see, the theme tonight is incompatible or necessary. What does that mean? And it's funny that when you start preparing something, things start to happen around you that challenges you. And I've been so much challenged. I have been so much challenged this week in my own life because it doesn't make sense if I stand in front of you all and come with blah, 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 and blah, blah, if I don't apply that to my own life. And it's been challenging. So let's start with some definitions. So incompatible also means contrary, opposite, unable to exist in harmony. But with that in mind, let's talk about some opposites in life in a general manner. If we don't know what's heavy, we cannot determine what is light, right? If we can't feel what is hot, we don't know what's cold. The same way, if we can't experience what's good, we cannot define what's bad. Do you follow me? Very good. So the same way we have polarities, right? We have negative and positive, real and unreal, illusion, truth, rational and irrational. So I found this definition on the internet by a famous speaker. His name is Aaron Abke, and he said the following: a thing can only be known by its opposite. Apparently, one thing being different from the other can define what both mean. So we understand by this general aspect that I just told you that opposites are necessary in order for us to understand either both or one or the other, right? But let's bring that context to our daily lives, to our relationships. But I'm not going to be talking about a relationship between couples. What I want to talk about tonight is the relationship with our family, at work, in society, but most importantly, with those that we call strangers. Let's talk about the necessary opposites in our relationships. Our tendency, whether we know it or not, is to look for those around us who have similar tastes, people who like the same things we do, maybe have the same ideas. I know that I'm prone to connect with those who think like me. People who are fond of the same things that I am. Perhaps people who like the same sports or even root for the same team. Anything, anyone who makes me feel comfortable. So you're always skeptical. We have a hard time defining who the other person is. There's this old saying that says, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Is it really? What about second chances? Think about, with me, of a person that you have met that the first impression was nothing but negative. There was something about that person that you felt like, I don't know, I'm not sure. You know, I have that, no. Maybe, just maybe you don't like the way they dress. You don't like the way they speak. You don't like the way they're behaving. Maybe this, maybe that. Lots of maybes, right? Certainly we can find countless reasons to define the other person as incompatible in this very particular situation. Or opposite from what I define as good, as decent, as correct. But shall we understand or try to understand why? Why do we do that many times without making any effort to give the other person a second chance? To break the cycle of judging or criticizing the other person. Me, Evelyn, in a state of being me, I am full of unique qualities and imperfections. I like some peculiar things that some people may think it's weird. It's strange. I do things that I like or that make sense to me. Again, me, and me. Me first, then the other. Hard enough to accept who I am, right? But that's another subject, not for tonight. We're talking about the other. Our first impression of the other starts very early through the views of those that we call parents or family. Ever since very little, we mirror ourselves into those near us, close to us, and we form a tribe, a family. In there, day in and day out, we learn about ourselves. I learn about me. Ever since a baby, I need to satisfy me. If I cry, or better yet, if I'm hungry, I will cry. If I'm in pain, I will cry. If I want attention, I will cry. If my diaper is full, what do I? I will stink, I will cry. So, in other words, me first, my needs, my way, then the other. Again, the first impressions start very early in our relationship at home. But what about now? Now that I'm an adult, what do I do with me? What can I say about me? It's true that living in society, we bring our baggage, filled with everything that we have learned or programmed to be. To express this person, me, to carry on all that makes sense to me. Sorry, it's a lot of paper. So, rule of thumb, everything that I have learned as a child will be permanent. True or false? Some say true, others say false. Tell you what, I asked a very good friend of mine. He's very popular. His name is ChatGPT. And this is what he said. It is false. Some aspects can remain accurate over time, while others may evolve or change entirely as we grow and have new experiences. That's why we need to reassess and reflect on our traits periodically to understand ourselves better. So, even though my friend is artificial, I think he's right. Right? So we mold ourselves to our first program, conditioned to certain ways of thinking, of behaving, in order to do what? In order to belong to our family. But what happens when I have to live together with somebody or other people to coexist with people who, by my definition, are different from me or incompatible? Carl Jung once said, I am not what happens to me. I am what I choose to become. You are what you do, not what you say you do. Let's see this video together. As you can see, that was in 2020. No.
Keep going, Evelyn. We have some technical issues.
Okay. Yeah, for me, in order for me to continue, I need this video first. Just say yes. No. Don't say no, say yes. She's coming, she's coming. There you go. Yes. Cool. Thank you.
decided to conduct an experiment and created two absolutely identical playrooms. One was empty, and there was a child in the other. We invited children and gave them the opportunity to choose which room to play in. In the process of growing up, children's opinions are influenced by society and their parents. Their perception of the world depends on adults. As children get older, it becomes more difficult for them not to notice that all people are different. As for little kids, they do not see the difference between children with special needs and those without. This child made the decision to be part of an inclusive community, but the world she ends up living in depends on you. Teach your children what they've taught you.
Amazing, huh? I always get choked up when I see that. Been there, done that. But once again, we all have needs. Some people have special needs. Keep that in mind. So where was I? All right. So my question to you is it possible that by changing my perspective, I can see the other as the one that will probably help me see life through new lenses? To become more open to new ideas, to new discoveries about myself? We are here between these walls, maybe sharing some form of likeness or opposites. Even the ones watching us right now may somehow share the same ideas, beliefs, or curiosities. Or better yet, even though we may be here walking along on the same path, we don't share the same things. We don't share the same views. Maybe we're here at the center or watching us out of friendship. The reason doesn't really matter. You and I are coexisting at this very moment. In our journey together, being with family, in society, at work, or in a group like this, We know that for sure we don't walk alone. It's impossible. We're human beings. We need to live with one another. But first, my responsibility is to give the other person the right to be themselves. My opinion may not be as yours in many ways. But why do I put on your shoulder the burden to accept my opinions or to live under the oppression to what I call normal? See, where am I here? Sorry. No. Isn't it time for us to have some kind of introspection and ask ourselves why we think the way we think? I'm not talking about philosophical theories, beliefs. I'm talking about the ordinary daily activities in our conceptions and misconceptions. Every day we reinforce our truths. Every day we reinforce what we want, what we think is the only way, consciously or unconsciously. And I'm going to show you why. A very light example, by the way. I don't know if you guys can read this, but I'm going to read it. And also, my dear friend helped me with this explanations about drivers, the way we drive. Listen to this. Number 1, the lane hog. This driver insists on staying in the left lane regardless of their speed or traffic behind them, firmly believing they're driving correctly. Number 2, the shortcut expert constantly insists on taking their preferred route, even if it's longer or less efficient, convinced they know the fastest way. Number 3, the parking pro, always confident in their parking abilities, even when they're clearly parked in a spot that's too small or inconvenient for others. Number 4, that's me. That is me. The GPS denier refuses to follow GPS directions or suggestions, convinced that they know the area better and always choose the right turns. Boom, that's me. There's one more. The signal skeptic believes using turn signals is unnecessary.
Never seen that in Florida.
Insisting they can predict their movements well enough without signaling, and others will have to guess their moves. What do we do with us, guys? But on the light side, I wanted to show you this video.
Not again.
When this time, there's going to be role playing.
Rewind.
What?
Have the talk.
Not again.
When this time, there's going to be role playing.
What?
You just got your driver's license, and I just want to be sure that you're really ready to drive.
Oh, that kind of role play. Mom, look, I passed the test. I got my license. I'm ready.
Prove it. Get in the car. Seatbelt. Adjust your mirrors.
There are no mirrors.
Aren't there?
Stop.
All right, well, just put it in drive and let's get going. Move your eyes around the road. See those two kids there kicking a ball on the road? What are you gonna do?
Slow down, get ready to stop.
Well, that one was easy. Okay, you're driving down a secluded road. Mary's sitting next to you. She slowly starts to move closer, slowly leaning. Oh, we are improing.
I'm leaving.
What do you do?
Park, I guess.
Wrong. That was a trick question. Mary is not going to be allowed alone in this car with you for at least 6 months, so get back in the car. Use the door. Bing, bing, bing.
What are you doing?
You are not wearing a seatbelt. Hey, that guy just cut you off. What are you going to do?
Who raised you? I hope you see me in your nightmares, you son.
What are you doing?
Exactly what you do.
I only say those things as an example of what not to do.
Right.
Hello? Sure. It's for you.
Hello?
Tom?
Dad?
Yes, it's me. Just a reminder, no talking or texting while driving.
How do you know that I'm talking inside?
I'm always watching.
Dad.
I'm in the den.
Ooh, lightning round. Okay, a UFO descends above the highway. What do you do?
Take a picture.
Wrong. You keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road. That vampire's trying to hitch a ride with you. What do you do?
Leave him there.
Correct. You have to invite them in, otherwise they can't get you.
How do you even know that?
Your car's just been struck by lightning. You've traveled back in time and you see a younger version of yourself standing by the side of the road. Do you give yourself a ride?
Yeah, sure.
No! If you get close to yourself, you can cause a disturbance in the space-time continuum. Haven't you ever?
Mom, enough!
Okay. All right, tell you what. How about you drive me over to Mary's house now, and if you do okay, then you can go over later by yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
Mom!
What?
Seatbelt.
That's awesome, isn't it? On the lighter side of us drivers. Very good. So yeah, so this is us. So it's time for us to make a change. Time to let the other be and keep their original characteristics. It's time to think about my choices, my way of behaving and interacting with others, to fulfill my need to continue progressing, to learn. To learn what? The entire process of loving the other as I love myself. With inclusion, in harmony, with anyone who I may think is opposite, different, incompatible from me. We still don't know how to, if we still don't know how to accept, there is. Let's try to show more tolerance. Let's try to develop empathy without exclusiveness. Let's choose living with one another as a necessary means instead of a necessary evil. Again, if judging is still ingrained in us, let's be slow to judge. The golden rule. Who can tell me what the golden rule is? Treat others as you'd like to be treated. And who said that? Yonara, save us. Jesus. There you go. He said and he lived that way, right? Also, one of my favorites, you can only give away what you have, but that wasn't Jesus. That was Leo Buscaglia, one of my favorite speakers in altar. Also, Leo Buscaglia said, too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around. My life, your life, and the other person's life. So just as we have taken our first lessons in life when we're still infants, today we are called to learn new skills. Skills that will develop our acceptance of who we are and who the other person is. So I challenge you, be a seeker. Look for more knowledge. Be curious about the way others live and think. Be curious about the way you think and the reasons behind. We often fantasize about being invincible, especially being unbreakable. But guess what? We are not. I am the person who can make better choices. I am the person who can include the other as way for personal growth. If I don't know how to love yet, I will try sympathizing. If I don't have anything nice to say, I'll do what?
Say nothing.
Exactly. Say nothing. Perhaps you can send a prayer, a good thought, good vibrations. I can learn from the opposite, the contrary, the incompatible, and understand that is necessary. So give the other a second chance for a new perspective, a new impression. You may be surprised. Today we know things with imperfect conceptions, with distortions on what we think we know about loving one another. But it's worth the effort of trying to do so. Today, I hold on tight to everything I think is valuable to me. My intellect, my status, my possessions, my choices, my truths. But what really matters will surpass time and show the choices that I made to become a better me. Again, Carl Jung once said, all true things must change, and only that which changes remains true. Scientists and philosophers have stated in so many ways about our condition as human beings. If we could go further into deepen our understanding about ourselves and the other, we could find many answers within. At least start at some point. My suggestion to you and me tonight. We fill ourselves with knowledge. Oh, I know this. I read this book. Oh, I saw this speaker. I have studied this. I have my degree. But what about doing? How long have you been coming here? How long have you heard the same things over and over and over again? In so many ways we have heard, if not understood, that everything is connected. Physics, biology, chemistry. Science tells us of the wonders of the universe, and we become mesmerized. However, we still have a hard time with concepts of inclusion and oneness. But I do believe in small steps, moving forward. But please, no stagnation. There's so much to be discovered, regardless of your beliefs or mine. The universe is always in motion. And to wrap it up, let me go back to what I said in the beginning. A thing can only be known by its opposite. To complement, I also want to say, in order for a non-dual reality to be known, duality must be known first. So let's see the opposite as a necessity for transformation, for unification. And maybe, just maybe, then we'll be able to understand the things beyond. But don't take my word for it. I'm going to leave you with this video so we can all think about for the rest of the week.
Each other, biological, to the earth, chemical, to the rest of the universe, atomic.
I think nature's imagination is so much greater than man's. He's never gonna learn.
Relax, 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 relax.
We live in an in-between universe where things change alright, but according to patterns, rules, or as we call them, laws of nature.
I'm the star, standing on a planet. Really, I'm just a speck compared with a star. The planet is just another speck. To think about all of this, to think about the vast emptiness of space. Billions and billions of stars, billions and billions of specks. The beauty of a living thing is not the atoms that go into it, but the way those atoms are put together. The cosmos is also within us. We're made of dark stuff. We are away from the cosmos and know it all.
Across the sea of space, the stars are others. We have traveled this way before, and there is much to be learned.
We're all connected. each other, biologically, to the earth, chemically, to the rest of the universe.
Talk, find it elevating and exhilarating to discover that we live in a universe which permits the evolution of a molecular machine as intricate and subtle as we.
I know that the molecules in my body are traceable to phenomena in the cosmos. That makes me want to grab people in the street and say, have you heard this?
The beauty of a living thing is not the atoms that go into it, but the way those atoms are put together. The cosmos is also within us. We're made of smart stuff. We are aware of the cosmos and know it's all. There's this tremendous massive waves all over space, which is the light bouncing around the room, going from one thing to the other, and it's all really there, really, really there. But you gotta stop and think about it, about the complexity, and really get the pleasure. It's all really there, really, really there. The inconceivable nature. To think about all of this, to think about the vast emptiness of space, billions and billions of stars, billions and billions of specks. The beauty of a living thing is not the atoms that go into it, but the way those atoms are put together. The cosmos is also within us. We're made of smart stuff. We are aware of the cosmos. Know it's all.
Across the sea of space, the stars, our other sun. We have traveled this way before, and there is much to be learned.
Certainly. So let's not lose hope. There's much to be learned. Thank you all.